This podcast is a part of the PodMania podcasting network. Check out podmania.co.uk to check out more of our great podcasts, features, reviews, match ratings and previews spanning the crazy and diverse world of professional wrestling. Welcome to the Young Lion Cast, your fortnightly audio source of all things New Japan Pro Wrestling right here on the PodMania podcasting network. I'm your host, Rob Good, and I am joined, as always, by the delicious Chris O'Brien. How are you, Chris?
There's a new intro and I'm very scared that I'm on the wrong podcast.
You're more scared by the new intro than me calling you delicious.
I mean, like, I am delicious, so, like, why the fuck wouldn't you? Like, it's just observation at that point, Robert.
Robert?
I've recently taken great delight in calling people the longer versions of their name.
We've been doing this podcast for 2 years nearly, and not once have you called me Robert, ever.
No, but then again, I've started calling my friend Matthew, and Jonathan. Even if it's not a long version of a name, I'll find a way to extend it. Like, friend Reese's now Roberta.
So you've gone full on cunt.
I've been full on cunt for a while.
Well,
I've been hosting a Japanese wrestling podcast for over a year. I cannot pretend I've ever not been a cunt.
Well, Chris, do you know what? I don't give a shit about anything because I've got a brew, I've got a podcast with a lovely co-host, and World Tag League is over. We survived, guys. It finished today.
I'm smart enough to go, I just need to read the results. Like, fucking, I don't know why you bothered, but you bothered.
I did bother, and it was for you lovely people that I did bother. But good God.
Can we just agree to do something different? Next Tag League, spend a month watching a different promotion.
Well, to be honest, I have been watching a little bit of the All Japan Real World Tag League, and that is so much better.
Oh, I dipped into that as well. What was it? It was a really good one. It was not good. It was like 8 out of 10, but still, that's better than most of the shit you get. It had Kento in it, which is why I watched it.
Was it Miyahara? Was it Next Stream against Violent Giants?
Yes. There we go. Yeah.
From Korakuen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one I watched.
Yeah, cool. So good.
It's a very, very good one. To be honest, anything with the Violent Giants in, I am very, very happy about. Very, very happy.
I really want to get into more All Japan, but it's so, like, not accessible. I actually need to set aside, like, the afternoon because I need the cage match article up next to it just to know who everyone is.
No, I agree. And also, fantastic segue, up on the PodMania website right now is an introduction to All Japan, because both me and Chris have found that we want to watch more All Japan, yet there is absolutely nothing out there to help us get into the current product. So please go and check it out.
Like, it's probably below Dragon Gate right now. And both Dragon... Maybe not Stardom. Stardom doesn't draw amazingly, but, like, it's below, like, Dragon Gate and Noah right now, so... Like, Noah can sell out Sumo Hall. Well, not sell out, but, like, draw 5,000 people to Sumo Hall, so...
The show they recently did, the Noah the Best, the Battle of Aesthetics, that drew a shade over 5,500. And it was a fantastic show. Really, really good show.
I want to get around to that. Is that the one with Marufuji and... Marufuji and...
Great Muta. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's all on YouTube, I think. So I'm going to go... Well, not on their YouTube, but, like, on this notorious uploaders YouTube. So I might check... Because, honestly, I just want to see what the buzz around Kaito is, because I've never seen him.
Kiyomiya?
Yeah.
He's... I don't know. I'm not convinced of him as a champion. He's a solid worker. Don't get me wrong. I watched his match with Marufuji from the Great Voyage in Yokohama. I've watched his other matches, but he's just, I don't know.
I've also heard Axis. Is that their name? Is a great tag team.
Yes. Also, the Sugiura? Is that his name? I'm really sorry if I've butchered that name.
I'm completely ignorant of the Noah product, so I couldn't tell you.
He's just won the national championship against Michael Elgin. That's partly why I want to get into Noah, because like Japanese Elgin is best Elgin. Oh yeah, 100%, and that's a really, really good match as well. That's an 8-star match.
Nice. I'll probably check. It's either that, because when I get off of here tonight, it's either that or I'll play Life is Strange. So
yeah, why not? So Chris, the agenda for today, we have got the World Tag League final, which happened earlier on this morning in Hiroshima. Obviously, we're recording this the 8th of December. We've got that to review and lots of connotations heading forward as we march on to Wrestle Kingdom 14 nights 1 and 2. Once we finish that, we'll go on to the 3 matches that we are going to look at for the classic match reviews, and just a little bit of programming notes. The first little bit is that, as I said in the introduction, the Young Lion cast is going fortnightly. The reason for this is with everything at the moment going on, it's impossible to watch all the wrestling I need to watch on a weekly basis. So 2 weeks just gives me enough time, because I'm afraid doing it every week would eventually kill me, and I know that you think you want Garth and Chris doing this, but trust me, you don't. So
imagine watching half the shit. Like, to be fair, I imagine Garth would really enjoy the Hansen Vader match, but imagine Garth watching like Dragon Gate or something else. No, imagine Garth watching Stardom.
It's taken me a long time to even consider Stardom, not because it's women's wrestling before anyone starts. It is literally because Chris has just hyped it that much that I've just.
I've made very clear this is a very specific mix for me of amazing outfits and wrestlers who have no regard for the state of their bodies.
But amazing outfits came first.
Oh, fucking! Have you seen what TCS come out with? They have like paintball guns and shit. It's great.
Anyway, so yes, this has moved fortnightly. The PodMania podcast will continue to be weekly, but that will come out on a Sunday. Just gives us a little bit more leeway to basically get the episode out and basically make sure it's good for everyone listening. We've also welcomed our first outside podcast to the PodMania podcasting network, the Wrestling with Johners podcast. That will be out every Saturday.
You never answered my question. How, Chris, can I be around these guys?
On a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah.
I'd like you to be first date, Chris.
First date, Chris, so around a 7.
It worries me that you were a 7 on your first date.
I mean, okay, let's be real, because eventually they're going to find out what I'm actually like. So, like, I might as well start around what I'm actually like, and then build them up instead of like nothing, and then suddenly me asking them about who'd win in a fight between Winnie the Pooh and Paddington Bear.
So, around me and Garth, are you full on 10, Chris?
I mean, yeah, I don't need to worry about you guys fucking off. I mean, if you got rid of me, who's going to pick matches for you for this segment?
So, you arguing with Irish people in a pub in Blackpool, that is number 10, Chris, is it?
I wasn't arguing with them.
You full on were arguing. Were arguing.
Garth was, because one of them laughed because Garth watched Impact. Like, and he was full on laughing. Like, he was like, ha, Impact, you fucking mark. It was amazing.
Was this just after Garth had tried to start a fight with Finn Balor on Twitter?
Yeah, no, exactly around the same time. And then Garth deleted those fucking tweets before I could send a fucking screenshot to people.
Outstanding. We're already wildly off topic. But yeah, let's start with today's World Tag League final. Night 17, 120 matches over 17 nights. It has been a slog. I'm not even going to pretend that I've watched all of it. I know you haven't watched any of it, Chris, whatsoever, including the final from today. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about today is going to be complete new news to you, which is quite exciting. So I'm going to run down, as exciting as a World Tag League show can be. I'll run down not all the results because there are a lot of matches. For example, the opener between Nakanishi and Nagata and Tenkoji, which has little relevance to anything at all. And if you want to check out our full ratings for this event, you can go to the website podmania.co.uk and check out our match ratings of it. But the first match that I want to go through is match number 4, which was the team of Toa Hanare and Hiroshi Tanahashi defeating Hiroki Goto and Carl Fredericks at 10 minutes and 10 seconds with the Toa bottom. It's first of all, aside from the Mikey Bomb, is that the worst named finisher in New Japan?
I mean, does it involve the bottom?
It's not even a Taguchi-related offense, which offends me.
Oh man, like I'd love to see Archer do a rear view. Not Archer. I would definitely love Archer to do a rear view.
Jesus Christ, that's fucking terrifying.
I'm gonna do that in 2K.
No, Hanare picks up his first pinfall victory of the tournament. Any victories that team had done previously had all been through Tanahashi. Couple of things. Fredericks continues to look absolutely amazing. Goto has low-key had a fairly decent year this year because he hasn't taken the Never Openweight title hostage and fucked it up. But there was no exceeding of the storyline for the Never Openweight Championship here. There was one note from the English commentary team that Shibata was still not medically cleared, but there was nothing else that was bringing the storyline forward between Goto and Kenta. So as of now, I know there is a press conference tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. GMT regarding Wrestle Kingdom. I assume we'll have more or less the full cards at that time. But after the match, Tanahashi is posing and we get another promo from Chris Jericho. Now, this promo was fucking great, Chris. I know you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but it's a continuation of his previous one at Power Struggle. Was it Power Struggle where he challenged Tanahashi, or was it King of Pro Wrestling?
Power Struggle.
Really, really good continuation of it. The man, Chris Jericho, is on fucking fire at the moment, and I would argue, I know that Will Ospreay has been in-ring competitor of the year without a shadow of a doubt, but the whole package, you can't look past Chris Jericho as having the best year.
In AEW, no. In New Japan, I'm kind of fucking done with him.
I think once he, in my opinion, he will beat Tanahashi. And I've got reasons for that, and I'll go into that when we do our Wrestle Kingdom 14 preview show. But I think he'll beat Tanahashi. Now, for me, once he's done that, the only big star left that he can take on is Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I would quite like to see Suzuki versus Jericho.
Oh, that's a very exciting prospect.
Yeah, to be fair, like we went pretty Suzuki heavy on this episode. So.
Yeah, we won't spend too much time speaking about Suzuki because we'll be spending a hell of a lot of time talking about him later. So yeah, there was just a quick thing, just reminding us that on January the 5th, Tanahashi and Chris Jericho will be going at it. Chris Jericho said it will be Tanahashi's last match in New Japan. Tanahashi responded by saying, I have no intentions of retiring anytime soon. That would really take the shine off Liger, wouldn't it? If Liger's been doing this entire retirement ceremony for a year and then Tanahashi goes, yeah, actually, I'm retiring as well, and everyone goes, no, and forgets about Liger. That'd be really disappointing. No, Goto!
Goto's back on, what the fuck are you telling me about? And it's somehow your fault.
But yeah, this wouldn't surprise me if this is Chris Jericho's last match in New Japan. And to be honest, I don't think he needs to do anything else. His 2 matches with Naito have been great. His match against Omega was great. His match with Okada wasn't as good. It was still okay, but it was disappointing. But I think Tanahashi and Jericho will have better chemistry than him and Okada did.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm one of the few people who I gave that an 8. I thought it was a fine match. It was a bit of an abrupt ending, but also there's probably some sort of decree to say that Jericho needs to be kept strong. But meh.
We'll see. We'll move on then. Match 5, which was the Suzuki-gun team of Suzuki and Lance Archer defeating the Bullet Club team of Kenta and Yujiro Takahashi at 11 minutes 30 with the EBD claw. First thing to note, this is the first I've actually seen Kenta turn up to a World Tag League match, though, why would you? You're in a team with Yujiro Takahashi. But him and Suzuki had really, really, really intense little exchanges. That would be a brilliant never openweight championship match between Suzuki and Kenta, just literally beating the ever-loving shit out of each other. There was a brilliant moment where Kenta slaps Suzuki, and Suzuki does that thing where he just turns very, very slowly, and Kenta did a fantastic job of just looking at him and going, oh, fuck, and just Suzuki beat the living shit out of him. It was great.
There must be a Kenta Suzuki match from Noah. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, certainly, and I think if there is one, I certainly think something that I'd look forward to doing on the classic review segment. Post match, after Lance Archer absolutely eviscerates Takahashi, we get a video package, and Jon Moxley returns, gives both Lance Archer and Suzuki the Death Rider, or the Paradigm Shift, depending on what promotion you're in. Gets at a table, says that he wants his belt back, and he wants to do it in a Texas death match.
Yeah, I'm kind of enjoying how the US title is basically turning into a fucking hardcore division.
The idea of an Archer versus Moxley match, though, don't get me wrong, it will be a good match. I was like, meh, okay. I mean, it was built for another Moxley match, wasn't it? I think everyone knew Moxley was going to come back for Wrestle Kingdom, especially with Juice Robinson, the only other real contender, being locked up in the tag team division. But making it a Texas death match, it's going to go one or two ways. It's either going to be absolutely fucking great, or it is going to be a tower of shit. And I think it'll be the former. I think it'll be a great match. I think Archer and Moxley are very similar competitors. They're both brawlers. So, yeah, fingers crossed, it could be a great match. What do you think, Chris?
No, I see it going well. Moxley's doing really well since leaving WWE. Actually, there's one guy I started following on YouTube. He says all of Moxley's matches have been objectively bad. I'm like, dude. Because he was like, his whole thing was, he just compare it to his WWE work. And it's like, well, one, you can't help it. That's literally his body of work. And B, Moxley has his niche, and it is within like hardcore stuff, and he's great at hardcore stuff. I mean, look at the Full Gear match. And not everyone's cup of tea, but I liked it.
I mean, I disagree with that statement. I think he's had at least 2 absolutely outstanding matches in the G1.
Ishii, the White match was really good.
The Jay White match, he's had a great match against Juice Robinson in the Best of the Super Juniors final. He had a great match against Shingo.
Great matches against Juice.
So, yeah, I think that's categorically wrong. The Full Gear match, that's, by the by, it was a polarising match. I wasn't a fan of it. I thought it was a good match, but it went far, far too long, and it just felt, after a while, like they were doing shock value for the sake of shock value. But that's, again, by the by. I think no announcement as to whether the Lance Archer versus Moxley match will be the 4th or the 5th, but as the 4th is already relatively stacked, I'd argue it will probably be the 5th. Anyway, moving on to match 6 now. This was the only non-World Tag League match on the show, and Kota Ibushi, Jushin Thunder Liger, and Tiger Mask defeated the Chaos team of Kazuchika Okada and Roppongi 3K at 12 minutes 45 with a Kamigoye. The match itself, I don't really want to talk about. It was a 7-star match. It was a really, really fast-paced, high-energy match. What I've heard online at the moment is that there is no heat under the Okada-Ibushi feud. And I don't know if you've seen this, Chris.
No, I've not. I've been off Twitter because you told me to be off Twitter.
I told you just for this bit, actually. So, yeah, there's been very, very little heat. However, over the last couple of shows, Okada has been the arrogant prick at champion, which he played so well, and sort of basically making sure that Ibushi knows that he is underneath him. There's no way Ibushi's going to do this. So there was a wonderful moment 2 nights ago where Ibushi had the briefcase and Okada just belted the briefcase out of the ring, so Ibushi drop kicked Okada. Just a really, really good moment. And then this bit Once the match is finished, Okada grabs the belt, holds it up and shoves it, just keeps pressing it and pressing it and pressing it into Ibushi's face. And Ibushi takes a minute, stands there, and then fucking slaps Okada with the briefcase. I'm not joking. It was the stiffest shot. It echoed around the arena. It was great. And it took so many people to actually get Ibushi off Okada. And Okada's being led to the back, and Ibushi's breaking through, trying to beat the shit out of him. It's taking loads and loads of people to hold him back, and eventually Ibushi legs it to get backstage to beat the shit out of Okada again. And instantly, I'm more invested in the feud.
Yeah, that's how build works.
Do you know what, though? It's something I don't have an issue with it at all. It's just something that is an inherent problem with the current way that New Japan book, because they can't start building this title match until they've got the briefcase defenses out of the way.
No, exactly. But also that is a slight problem with New Japan and a big cat. If one division's doing really well, another division's doing really fucking badly.
I don't know. I mean, when was the last briefcase defense? It was Evil, wasn't it? So was that King of Pro Wrestling?
Yeah.
So you're looking at October, and from October until the end of World Tag League, there has been no build whatsoever to this match. And I think because we've got this dash for the gold, or this dash for the double gold, or whatever they are, whatever they're labeling it, this match itself on the 4th between Okada and Ibushi for the title has sort of been lost in the shuffle because everyone assumes that on the 5th, Naito is going to win the belt. And I think that's unfair, because if you look at Kota Ibushi's body of work this year, he's had a sensational year.
Oh, he's probably had one of the better years of anyone. Like, I'm just trying to, especially in the G1, he was a highlight. His feud with Naito, well, I never ever want to see that shit again. It's really good. You know what I kind of want to happen, and you're going to judge me for wanting this to happen?
Go on.
I want Jay White to win the belt.
Do you know what? I knew you would say that. Do you want Jay White to walk out on the 5th with both belts?
Yeah.
I want you to imagine something, Chris. Just for a moment, before you continue.
He just wins it and goes, hey, Goto, do you want the title shot? Well, I have 2 belts, and still, no Goto.
Just imagine for a moment. Can you remember the silence that greeted Okada beating Naito at Wrestle Kingdom 12?
Yeah.
That would be nothing to what would happen at the Tokyo Dome if White beats Naito.
Exactly. It would be amazing. And then it would stir up heat for the next night.
I genuinely think if Naito were to lose on the first night, I genuinely think that the 5th would be so much less attended. I genuinely think people would boycott it.
But like, I'm mostly just doing it because as you know, I'm a massive Jay White guy. I actually went back and watched some of his earlier matches, and like people were like, oh, he really came of age recently. But it's like, no, like if you watch that Omega match, like his ring psychology has always been amazing.
As well, his G1 run in 2018 was fantastic.
That's one thing about the G1 run. Like, he sort of dumbed it down because you have to. It's the G1 because it's the quicker matches. But like, I just love the creative ways he found to take out Red Shoes. Like every single night, Red Shoes should be taken out, and it's sort of like, Jay White, you're a fucking genius.
Don't forget as well, his match with Juice Robinson at Fighting Spirit Unleashed was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, fucking absolutely. That's the best match for US titles ever had.
Yeah, okay, yeah. If you want to give Moxley Robinson second, then yeah, fair enough.
And like, unless you count the Omega Ishii match, which I don't.
Oh, what? Yeah. Poor Ishii. Anyway, that's not why I wanted to talk about this match, even though it lit a little bit of a fire underneath this feud. Everyone leaves the ring. It leaves Liger in the ring. He cuts a promo saying about how, he's here in Hiroshima, and then he's cut off by the video screen. And, of course, Chris, me and you on this podcast have discussed, well, who the fuck is left for that final match for Jushin Thunder Liger on the 5th, his retirement match.
Mm-hmm.
And who is on the screen, Chris? But Dragon Lee.
Ooh.
I know.
We hadn't even considered Dragon Lee.
How did we not? It's literally what we mentioned Marufuji.
Yeah, we did. We mentioned Noah, guys, before we. How did we forget that Dragon Lee exists?
He's not known as Dragon Lee anymore, obviously, because I assume that is a CMLL trademark. But he is known as Ryu Lee, RYU Lee.
He's been going by Dragon Lee in Ring of Honor, but oh well.
But don't forget, he's not a part of Ring of Honor anymore.
Oh, is he not? Okay.
No.
Okay. Oh, imagine if Roosh lost that, and he just becomes Rush.
So Liger says that sounds like a challenge, but then says, however, there is someone else I want to face as well. And this man has just come. This man has got a beef with the man I've just spoken to, and has just come back from a neck injury. Never mentioning by name Hiromu, but clearly meaning Hiromu, and heavily implying that Liger would like a 3-way dance with him, Dragon Lee, and Hiromu. Opinion, Chris?
Just that high-pitched noise. I can't think of anything else.
As a prospect,
It's great.
It's incredible. There's one issue I have with it.
As a story, it's putting Liger's retirement on the back foot for the sake of a Hiromu and Dragon Lee feud.
Why? I mean, okay, playing Booker for a minute. Takahashi takes the championship off Ospreay on the 4th. I think we've both got that as a dead cert to happen. Who would you want as your next challenger but Dragon Lee? It's a storyline. It's a natural storyline. But then to spaff that up the wall, to have both of them in Liger's match. And Liger's last match, in my opinion, should be a one-on-one match.
Yeah, I agree. While he's still able.
Well, he proved at the anniversary show that he's still able.
Maybe what will happen is Takahashi and Dragon Lee will fight on one of the road to shows, but then again, also you don't want one of them looking weak.
I'd be surprised if Takahashi fights before Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh god, I was really excited for a second, and then I realised how shit the story is.
Don't get me wrong, match quality-wise, that would be through the fucking roof.
No, absolutely, but also, again, maybe this is where Dragon Lee gets a pin over Takahashi.
But again, it's Liger's last match. Why should those two be the focus?
Make it an elimination.
I was listening to the Post Pure Wrestle podcast on Post Wrestling, and WH Park made a very, very good point about how whoever wins that match on the 4th should face Liger on the 5th. Doesn't necessarily have to be the title, but if you did put the title on the line for it, how amazing would it be if Liger won it on his last match in New Japan, then vacated it tournament for the Junior Heavyweight Championship? That's great.
I'm pretty sure I've put this one forward before.
It's not a terrible idea, but if Hiromu wins and then has it for less than a day, I feel like it sort of ruins his comeback.
You say that. I think it's very Hiromu.
Oh, yeah, true. It is very Hiromu. Yeah, so, again, nothing announced as of yet, but the idea, it seems, behind Jushin Thunder Liger's last in-ring match on the 5th will be him versus Ryu Lee versus Hiromu. Or it'll be just Ryu Lee. Who knows? We wait and see.
Then again, Liger might just be doing that to stir up, to annoy Dragon Lee. So
maybe.
I'm going to have to train myself not to call him Dragon Lee anymore.
Well, yeah, because I'm not sure if it's Ryu or Ryu Lee. I assume it's Ryu Lee.
Maybe it's really
RYU?
I haven't seen it spelled yet.
Moving on now then to the World Tag League again, and at this point there were three scenarios. If Finjuice and God won, then there would be a three-way dance for the championships at Wrestle Kingdom 14. I believe I can't remember the exact scenarios in my head, but I know if Finjuice won and God won, something happened. If LIJ won and God won, something else happened. It'd be LIJ versus Gorillas again. And there was all sorts of ridiculous things. However, that didn't matter because Ishii and Yoshihashi beat the Gorillas of Destiny in 16 minutes and 50 seconds with the inside cradle. Best the Gorillas of Destiny have actually looked in this World Tag League. Nice of them to show up, considering they said they were going to concentrate on tag team wrestling and have basically phoned in every single fucking match they've been in. Which meant that when we got to the main event, because don't forget we didn't have a final this time, it was all one block, one laborious fucking block, this acted as basically the final. Whoever won this match was going to face the Gorillas of Destiny at Wrestle Kingdom. And Juice Robinson and David Finlay defeated Evil and Sonata in 24 minutes and 5 seconds, with David Finlay getting the pin with an acid drop after 24 minutes and 5 seconds. Really, really good match. And it annoys me because we've had the Gorillas of Destiny versus LIJ so many fucking times, and it has never been anything more than, what, a 6 or a 7? It's always been quite slow, monotonous, and plodding. However, it was high-paced. It seemed like winning the World Tag League actually fucking meant something. Evil and Sonata seemed to be going through everything a step quicker than they ever did against God. Juice Robinson and David Finlay felt like a proper tag team, which is great because the state of the IWGP heavyweight tag scene is fucking atrocious. And we've got a fresh matchup at Wrestle Kingdom 14. Plus, it frees up Evil and Sonata to have high-profile matches at Wrestle Kingdom. I say Evil and Sonata, it'll probably just be Sonata, but there we are. Opinion, Chris. Finjuice, one World Tag League.
This is probably the best outcome of Tag League that you could have had. Like, there's not many good outcomes. But it's, yeah, like, I'm not hating it, which is fine, I guess. Like, it's not going to be match of the night, but like the heavyweight tag team match has never been match of the night in the whole time I've been watching, I think.
No, true. And this will be a real shit if God actually come out and retain.
You don't like God at this point, do you?
It's not that I don't like God. I've got a lot of time for God, but whether it be the booking or whether it be just the way God wrestle, I don't find their matches compelling, no matter who they're against. I don't find their entire shtick compelling at all. I don't think there are far better tag teams out there. Far better tag teams out there.
You know what I think would fix God if they brought back Good Guy Tama Tonga?
Oh, that was a year ago. I missed that.
It was such a great gimmick that they really should have kept going.
But then they spaffed it at a fucking Road 2 show.
Yeah, and this is something that you throw out on a fucking Dominion. Like, this is... You know, it should have been... remember the Randy Orton Bray Wyatt feud? Where Randy just slowly became more ingrained into the Wyatt family. That's what should have happened with fucking Tama Tonga. You know, we should have started going to Mexico to help the orphans and like organizing charity concerts and like donating to the Takayama Foundation. And then eventually he just one day kicks a puppy in the ring and he's the biggest heel in the world.
Oh, it'd have been the A storyline heading into Dominion, I'm not going to lie. So far then, the Wrestle Kingdom card at the moment, confirmed for the 4th of January, we have got the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match between Okada and Ibushi, the IC match between White and Naito, the Junior Heavyweight Championship match between Ospreay and Hiromu, and then the first part of Liger's retirement matches with the 8-man with all the dads. You've then got, on the 5th of January, the IC and IWGP Heavyweight Championship match with the winners from the previous night. The sort of bronze medal or well done for trying match with the two losers. And then you've got Jericho Tanahashi, the junior tag match between Roppongi 3K and ELP and Ishimori. And more than likely, you've got Liger, Ryu Lee, and Hiromu. Still to be put on either or card, you've got the tag match between Finjuice and the Guerrillas of Destiny, and the US match between Moxley and Archer, that Texas death match. So far, Chris, looking very, very stacked.
Looking very good. I'm like going to go into a coma for those 3 days.
And that's ignoring the fact that All Japan have announced their show on the 3rd of January, which promises to be absolutely incredible. That including the fact that Noah have begun to announce their, I think it's reboot show, on the 5th of January.
Wait, quick, what's on the All Japan show?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I know there's a Miyahara title defense, but I can't remember the exact card.
Who's Miyahara against? That's all I care about.
And then we've got, this Noah card, which from what everyone has posted online looks like that is, again, going to be an absolutely stellar card. And then you've got Stardom as well, who will have their show. It's a good time for Japanese wrestling.
Their New Year show's on the 24th, and it has Kagetsu versus Mayu.
Intriguing.
And also Hazuki's retirement. And I think she might be going against Arisa, which, to be fair, last time they faced was fucking amazing. So, that'd be good.
Yeah, it's definitely the WrestleMania weekend of Japanese wrestling, isn't it?
We're going to have so much to talk about.
It's going to be incredible.
Then you also have New Year's Dash, which I'm very interested to see the direction they take the stories after Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, it is sort of the reboot, isn't it, New Year Dash?
It's the Raw after Mania.
Yeah, but don't forget you were going to have one person who's both the IC and the heavyweight champion. You're going to have to book something big for New Beginning because they've moved that venue to the Edion Arena in Osaka, where they hold Dominion. So, it's Osaka-jo Hall, I apologise, I think, where they hold Dominion. I'm pretty sure that's where they've got New Beginning this year. Or is it the Edion Arena? It's one of those two. And it's a far bigger arena, so presumably they're going to have a far bigger card than Taichi versus Naito. No offense, Taichi.
Well, I'm just saying Taichi and Okada is technically a bigger...
I mean, you've got one person holding both belts. Is it too much that you're going to have the same person headline both shows?
I guess it depends how much you ask for the person within Road 2, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, say Naito wins, just for argument's sake. Does he drop the IC title at New Beginning?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of the last time we had a proper dual champion. It was probably, not just in general, Lethal, maybe. And to be fair, he did that fine, but he wrestled twice a night. So
Rollins
doesn't really count. He only had it for one pay-per-view.
He still had it.
He had it for one pay-per-view and then did 2 matches, and in the second one he murdered Sting. So
yeah, true story. True story.
Have you seen Sting since? No, you haven't. Ignore the 3 or 4 times he's turned up.
So, let's move on from World Tag League. Thank God for another year. And we'll move on to our retro our retro match review. And because we are heading towards Wrestle Kingdom, I think it's only fair to head into a Wrestle Kingdom match. And what better Wrestle Kingdom match to start with, Chris, than the first ever Wrestle Kingdom, or the first event labelled Wrestle Kingdom from
We talked about this show on the first podcast we ever did together.
We did talk about this. It's harkening back, Chris. Isn't that nice?
Because D'Lo Brown was on it, which was...
He was in a 6-man tag with Bull Buchanan and Travis Tomko taking on GBH. The undercard was not good for this show. So yeah.
To be fair, neither was the main event, because the main event was Tenkoji versus Muto and Chono could barely move at this.
18 minutes of that. Nearly 19 minutes of barely mobile Chono. Just let that sink in for a minute. But yeah, we've got a match from this show, and it's the Triple Crown Championship match between the champion, Minoru Suzuki, and Yuji Nagata, with Suzuki defeating Nagata by referee's decision in 17 minutes and 22 seconds. So, Chris, you gave me this match as an option. Why did you choose this?
Because it's first Wrestle Kingdom and it's significant, and also I thought it would be very technical. It wasn't very technical. Oh my god.
So, to give you some indication how not technical this match was, ladies and gentlemen, within 3 minutes, Nagata was on the outside with his face pissing with blood because Suzuki had stacked Nagata up against the post on the outside, had swung a chair, presumably to try and hit the post, and caught Nagata squarely between the eyes, leading him to just be pissing blood everywhere, absolutely everywhere. It was brutal, and the entire time that he's lying on the outside, clearly shaken up by the fact that he'd just taken a fucking unprotected chair shot to the head. Suzuki is
we're going to see today.
Yeah. Suzuki is standing there in the ring, smiling, licking his tongue out, postulating to the crowd. Nagata gets up onto the apron. Suzuki big boots him straight back off again. Just full-on grade A cunt Suzuki.
The thing is, Suzuki hasn't aged since Wrestle Kingdom 1.
The only thing that's changed is the fact that he's lost that spike of hair from the back of his head.
That, and also he was a bit pudgier back then.
He was. He's slimmed down a little bit.
Which somehow makes him more scary.
It does. A little bit controversial, perhaps, Chris, but this is... We seem to have got, at the moment, quite a watered-down Suzuki in 2019.
The last time Suzuki was Suzuki for me was... when was it? New Beginning against Okada. Where he just went over after Okada's leg mercilessly.
Yeah, because here, you actually believe that he was some kind of psychopath.
Yeah, you actually believe, oh god, I wouldn't... To be fair, don't get me wrong, I still believe he's some kind of psychopath. I believe he's a psychopath on some form of medication. It is terrifying to watch this match. Not long after, Suzuki is also bleeding because he's gone to get the chair again, and Nagata kicks the chair into Suzuki's head, so now they're both bleeding. Just two men stiffly beating the ever-loving shit out of each other till one of them dies. This is our first Nagata match on the Young Lion, I think, together, because last time, the only time we've ever covered a Nagata match would have been New Japan Cup, and then that was on the main cast. So
I believe.
Nagata?
Pardon?
What do you think of Nagata?
Well, he had one of my low-key matches of the year, my low-key New Japan match of the year against Ishii in the New Japan Cup in the first round.
That was great.
And I've always been a fan of Nagata. Whenever I've gone back and watched any of Nagata's stuff, I've always been a fan of him. Here, I just feared for his safety.
Yeah, it's to put together how brutal it was. This is 14 years afterwards, and we're still worried that he was about to die. It's when he started coming back and got Suzuki in the armbar and then did eyes rolling back with the blood going down his face. What a visual. What
a fucking visual. That was great. Really, really, really good.
Also, his kicks. Ouch.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Aside from the brain buster on the outside, on the concrete as well, not on the matting, on the concrete, and a couple of really quite horrible back suplexes, this was just strikes. And the kicks that Nagata was giving to Suzuki, one of them physically knocked Suzuki off his feet. Not because Suzuki was selling, but because it was that stiff, it physically knocked him off his feet.
You could not stand up because of the force behind the dropkick. Like, these were like Joshi dropkicks, and the reason like Joshis can throw such big dropkicks is because they're tiny. So it's like having a stone thrown at you, whereas this is like having a boulder thrown at you.
Just absolute lunacy. Absolute lunacy. And then there's a moment where they're both kneeling in the middle of the ring and like rotting rhinos.
It was fucking disgusting.
Just headbutting each other on the cuts of their heads.
Yo, that's the thing. It looked like they were actually aiming for the cut.
Just unbelievable. Suzuki eventually manages to lock in the rear naked choke. The referee calls time on it, even though Nagata is trying desperately to pry Suzuki's arm away. There's a wonderful visual again, Chris, speaking of great visuals, of blood pouring down Nagata's head and his eyes, again rolling up into the back of his head as he eventually passes out. The ref calls it, and Suzuki is your winner.
Well, you can't hear, just off of the screen, it's actually quite an interesting piece of history. But when Suzuki was about to hit Nagata with the pile driver, you can hear this the kid from The Simpsons on the side shouting, stop it, he's already dead.
And that pile driver, speaking of that pile driver, there was visible head below. I knew that'd make you laugh. I did that for you. No, there was visible parts of Nagata's head below Suzuki's legs. Like, he took a lot of that on his dome, I'm not going to lie. It was not pleasant at all. Anyway, unfortunately, Nagata was unsuccessful in gaining the Triple Crown Championship. He would actually never go on to hold the Triple Crown Championship.
He was All Asia Tag Champion last year.
He was All Asia Tag Champion. He won the Champions Carnival, but he would never go on to win this belt. Suzuki, on the other hand, this was his first reign with the belt. He would hold it for 357 days before eventually losing it to Kensuke Sasaki, before eventually going on to hold it again. He would eventually hold it twice.
I want to see Sasaki versus Suzuki. That sounds great.
Pro Wrestling Love in Ryogoku Volume 3, August 26th, 2007.
What a name.
It's yeah. What can I say? But yeah, uncomfortable match to watch. Like I said, there was no moves. It was physically just strikes, literally slapping and just sweat flying and blood flying everywhere. I mean, it was good to watch. And
don't get us wrong, we fucking loved it.
Again, this is my sort of match, and, you know, the match that we're going to end with. But, I mean, what do we give it?
Like, it clearly depends what you... Because in terms of drama, I've never been more invested in a Nagata match. Like, I guess, like, it's Tanahashi match for the G1, but, like, that wasn't because of Nagata.
Do we give it 8?
That's the thing, I'm verging on 9 just because of how crazy they went. Like, I feel like they deserve to lump it in with, like, the 8, where there's, like, every Hangman Page match that ever happens.
Oh, no. Hangman Page King of the 7, isn't he?
Yeah, actually, no. One of the few 8s I think I gave Hangman Page in G1 was against Suzuki. So, I'm verging on 9, but, like, mostly because I quite enjoy when Suzuki is suffering.
I don't think I've ever seen Suzuki take as much fucking brutal beatings as he did here.
No, like, because most of the time it's people, whereas this time they just pissed off Nagata, which is a low key something you do not want to do. Because have you ever played the story mode in Fire Pro?
I have not, no.
Every time your character gets cocky, Nagata turns up and slaps you in the back of the head.
Outstanding.
So, like, seriously, you win the I think it was Tag League with Nagata as your partner, and you guys going like, yeah, won, slap, don't get too cocky, kid.
I love it, that's amazing. Should we give it 8 then? Because you're verging on 9, I said 8, so we've pretty much both said 8.
No, we do. Let's see. You said 9, I said 8, and this is my fucking podcast.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Tyrannical dictatorship, 8 stars.
Right, fine, but like next time there's a disagreement, I expect to come out on top.
Of course, and you won't, but you can expect it. You can expect it, Chris. So moving on then. Moving on from this match, let's move on to another Suzuki match. It seems like we can't do.
We're all about. I need to stop putting both Suzuki and Stan Hansen in the fucking field because we're sort of burning through a lot of these matches.
I think you need to stop putting G1 matches in there because we have burnt through G1s.
But that's the thing, we haven't even burned through like a fifth of one G1 yet. So.
No, that is true. This time, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the G1 Climax 2011. So G1 Climax 21, Night 10, which is the final. This isn't the final that we are reviewing, however. It is effectively, even though the semi-final sort of thing isn't really in place, it was the Block B match, match 9 on the card, with Shinsuke Nakamura defeating Minoru Suzuki at 12 minutes and 13 seconds with the Bomb IA. Now, just a little bit of background. Again, this was the G1 Climax 21, 2011, Block A. This was Block A. Tetsuya Naito won the block with 12 points, but then we also had Hiroshi Tanahashi, Yoshihiro Takayama, Togi Makabe, Giant Bernard, Toru Yano.
Bernard was good in New Japan.
Well, this is what I've heard, and perhaps we should put some Giant Bernard. Well, not Giant Bernard matches. Maybe Bad Intentions matches, but not Giant Bernard singles matches. I'm not ready for that shit yet. We also had Toru Yano, Yuji Nagata, Lance Archer, Yujiro Takahashi, and Hideo Saito. Then in Block B, winning the block was Shinsuke Nakamura, spoilers, with 14 points. And then following that, we had Satoshi Kojima, Minoru Suzuki, MVP, Hiroki Goto, Carl Anderson, Hiroyoshi Tenzan, La Sombra. Yes, Andrade Cien Almas was in this G1.
Did you not know La Sombra had a G1?
I knew he'd been in New Japan, and I knew he'd faced Shinsuke before. But I didn't know it was in this.
I'm pretty sure he was IC champion at one point.
We'll have to have a look. And then, obviously, following that up, we had Wataru Inoue and Strongman.
Very quickly, MVP in he was at my local Fed last month for a match against Michael Chase, and he was doing his meet and greet, right? And then he refused to come out for during the intermission for meet and greets unless he sold 100 of his little medallions.
Unless he sold 100 medallions?
Not you know the necklace he wears out to the ring, like
yeah,
the 3 or 5 of them. He was selling replicas of them for £30, and he was like, it wasn't 100. It was like, unless I sell enough of these.
Did he eventually come out?
No, because nobody fucking bought them.
That's... Oh my god. Right, anyway. Yes, La Sombra was the IC champion once.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So, well done. Very well done. So, yeah. Suzuki versus Shinsuke Nakamura. The first thing to note is it seemed to have been a bit of a transition for Shinsuke at this point, because we seem to have been at a point between normal, calm, collected Shinsuke and then the, I hate to use the artist, but, the full-on sort of rock star Shinsuke that we would eventually get at, Wrestle Kingdom 9 and that sort of exuberant character. He was in the gear, but he was a very calm and collected one.
It's like between Garth to Chris and Tom.
Yeah, I suppose in a way. I suppose it is a little bit like that.
Your regular no nonsense to Chris.
To utter bollocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, Suzuki came out. It was a good pop, and the Kaze ni Nare still got a big pop.
The visual of Suzuki coming through the arches in Sumo Hall was amazing.
It's not my favourite thing about his entrance, though.
Yeah, that's right as he gets in the ring.
As he gets in the ring and begins clapping just before Kaze ni Nare, rather than just stooping to get into the ring on the climax of Kaze ni Nare, he belted whatever young lion was holding the ropes open for him with a drop kick, and just in time to Kaze ni Nare, and it was fantastic. Just set up this match. It was brilliant. I loved it.
It's the most Suzuki thing in the world, just casually abusing young boys.
Again, just absolutely amazing. So, Chris, what do you think of this match?
You know how we kind of discuss how Shinsuke has a tendency to sort of phone it in sometimes?
Okay.
I feel like he was halfway phoning it in here, but like not completely.
Do you think anyone would dare phone in a match against Suzuki?
I mean, no, but also a good 5 minutes of this match was Tai Chi shenanigans.
That is something I wanted to talk about. Aside from Tai Chi's absolutely phenomenal haircut.
I was about to say, why doesn't he still rock this?
Honestly, the mullet that kid has got going on is absolutely just ridiculous. I feel like it added a little bit to the story. I don't feel like there was enough of it to take away from the match. It was just enough to allow Suzuki to fuck up Nakamura's knee and his neck. He'd spent a lot of time working the arm whilst Taichi was distracting the ref, and I feel like it did play into the story. Yes, do we need Taichi shenanigans? Probably not, but at least it wasn't overbearing.
That's just what Suzuki-gun has been for the last 10 years, just Tai Chi shenanigans.
Exactly. There was a couple of high spots here. My favourite moment of the match was Suzuki going for the lariat towards the end, a proper huge lariat, and Nakamura leaping up into the flying arm, reversing into a flying arm bar. It never gets old.
Every time I catch Nakamura in WWE, which admittedly is less and less and less and less, I'm annoyed that he doesn't do the armbar anymore, really.
Not just the armbar, just the way he transitioned into it was absolutely incredible.
He got the armbar from anything.
Yeah, it was amazing. And the striking in this match, I feel like I was a little bit spoiled by having the Wrestle Kingdom 1 match in the same series of matches as this one, because the striking was great. You know, you've got Nakamura's kicks, you've got the slaps from Suzuki, but it doesn't compare with the stiffness of the match at Wrestle Kingdom.
No, but also, I feel like Nakamura is less likely to be like, yes, kick me as hard as you want.
No, fair enough.
Whereas Nagata's always sort of been in this mindset of, I need to kill myself for this company.
I am a fan of Nakamura's selling, though.
Nakamura is a great seller when he wants to be.
I feel like this was good. They managed to cram a lot in. Let's not forget that this match was a shade under 13 minutes.
It wasn't a long match.
It was 12 minutes and 47 seconds, I believe. And bearing in mind that 12 minutes and 13 seconds, so only a shade over 12 minutes. Don't forget that Shinsuke had one match, which was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships match, before he then had to go out again in the G1 final, which he'd eventually go on and win against Tetsuya Naito.
Well, that's meant to be a great match.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it, but, you know, you can't... You say Shinsuke phoned it in. I didn't see that he phoned it in. I saw a man who potentially needed to conserve a little bit of energy before he then had to go out to the final. I still really enjoyed this match. I still really enjoyed the chemistry that the two clearly had, and the fact that Suzuki is targeting Shinsuke's weapon with the knees, but then transitioning to the neck and the arm. Yeah, is it an 8 out of 10? Probably not. It's probably a high 7.
No, that's what I was going to say. It's a set. For me, with Nakamura, I hope, mostly because of the Ibushi match, I hold him in such high regard that anything that below an 8 is me thinking he's phoned it in.
The ending was very, very, very abrupt. We had that beautiful transition into the armbar that we had before, that we spoke about before, and then Nakamura sort of rolls out after Suzuki goes for a pinfall, and Nakamura does a short run bomb IA to the back of Suzuki's head. 1, 2, 3. Nakamura is your winner. It felt not rushed. That's not the word. Abrupt is probably the best word that I can use for it.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
And don't get me wrong, that's not a negative on the match.
Because that seemed to be a thing across all these matches. They all sort of felt like shoot fights, especially at the beginning of this, where we were sort of rolling about.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a shoot fight with less rules.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And used to excel before Kenny Omega sort of destroyed how the style is, but...
I have a question. Do you think New Japan missed a trick in not giving Suzuki the IWGP Heavyweight Championship?
Here's the thing, there was never a point for him to fit it in, because, this is... I don't know. I'm inclined to say no, but, I think the best time for him to win it would have been Wrestle Kingdom 6. But then, if we did that, we would never have got the Rainmaker shot. So, I think he's literally just always come. He's a really good world champion. I mean, he's held the GHC championship and the Triple Crown. So, obviously he's a trusted commander. I think the main issue is, especially around this time, until recently, he was never fully committed to New Japan. So New Japan, especially after Lesnar, were not willing to put the title on someone who might just leave.
I see where you're going with that, but when you've got people who've had, people go on and on and on about how only a select few people hold the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. When you've got Bob Sapp.
No. Those people have not fucking looked at the history of the IWGP Championship. They're full of fucking shit. Fucking Bob Sapp. And people talk about, there's no shit booking. It's sort of they put it on Lesnar as a publicity stunt. You know what I mean?
Scott Norton.
To be fair, Scott Norton was a publicity stunt, but he legitimately just liked Scott Norton. You can't pretend that a lot of the time New Japan doesn't fall into the same trap that WWE does, because they do.
I just feel like there could have been a time that... I mean, you look at Jay White's first championship run. He held the belt for 54 days. Tetsuya Naito, in his only IWGP Heavyweight Championship reign, held the belt for 70 days. It's not like New Japan are scared of that first title run being a transitional title run. Are you telling me that there is no point in this entire rundown of IWGP Heavyweight Champions, 69 of them, that you could not fit a Minoru Suzuki title reign in?
You're right. You are right. But also, I don't know. I think just going I don't think he I don't think he needs it, to be honest. I'm not defending not putting it on him. I would have loved for there to be a defined Suzuki IWGP Championship run for us to rewatch, because that would just be our fucking kink. But yeah, I don't know how to answer that though, because honestly, I don't like going unless there was a story and they fucked up, a specific story and they fucked up. I don't like going he or she should be champion. You know what I mean? It's sort of It's not like with Naito, if he never holds the belt again, where it's well, we really should have put it on him on Wrestle Kingdom 12, or or anything like that. It's a case of there was never a story where he rose to get the championship. So I don't think it really hurts his legacy to have not held it, because he continues to be an existing threat. It's some small part of me for some reason when he was going at it at Royal Quest made me think Suzuki was going to win it, when in reality there was no hope in hell.
I think the Red Hot crowd held that.
No, yeah, fucking. We need to do a show, but we actually go to.
They come to England again, irrelevant of where they go. We are going.
Fine. We'll drag it out along.
Yeah,
he's my right.
Absolutely. Just one more thing, and then we will move on. So, Okada's 720 days with the belt, that record-breaking 12 defenses, 720 days as champion. The moment that Suzuki-gun returned at New Year's Dash and Suzuki-gun went on to challenge pretty much all of Chaos at the following New Beginning show. Not one Suzuki-gun victory.
No, that is bullshit. I did think that at the time. It's like, because at the time, Suzuki-gun was essentially a new faction. They hadn't been around since Wrestle Kingdom 9. So, like, to most New Japan fans at that point, it's a new faction. Like, I had barely had any exposure to him. And having them all lose all at once, like, this is why I didn't like Taichi up until around this the middle of last year.
I can't think of a time when you didn't like Taichi.
To be fair, I actually came across my first podcast the other day on my laptop, so I was like, okay, I'll listen to it. And I'm like, oh, Taichi, no one likes you. When in reality, that's just me keeping my feelings buried inside.
Listen, he held the belt for 720 days. He'd first got it on June 19th when he took it off Naito in 2016. Are you telling me that the New Beginning show in 2017, Suzuki couldn't have taken that belt for 40 days, 50 days, give it back to Okada?
They wanted to build up Okada as the best champion of all time, so they wanted him to have a very long reign with a very defense record.
Which is absolutely fine, but the previous record was Shinya Hashimoto with 489 days. He didn't just beat the record, he absolutely obliterated it.
No, but Tanahashi's on defense record.
The combined days as champion.
Combined days as champion and also the amount of defenses in a single reign.
No, fair enough then. I was just going to say, because as a one title reign, then, all you had to do was get to 500 days. No,
because that's why Naito, that's partly why Naito lost, because we want Okada to be the best of all time. They're basically Roman Reignsing him.
No, fair enough. Yeah, because Okada at the moment is on 1,761 combined days and Tanahashi's 1,396.
Yeah, but to be fair, in terms of Okada's current reign, it's literally because Omega left, so we just defaulted back to Okada in a very roundabout way.
It'd be interesting to see if anyone ever beats this title, these combined days.
It would have to be someone special, but also, like, at this point, the New Japan, especially Western fan base, is to a point where it's very WWE eyes in the sake of they're idolizing Okada and don't think anyone should ever be him type thing. It's a whole other topic for a whole other time, and I'll go into it actually next week in a year in review. But yeah,
okay, let's move on, because like I say, that could be a very, very juicy thing to discuss.
A very Juice Robinson topic.
Ooh, topical. I don't know what that was. I'm never going to do that again. Oh my god, what was that? Do you know who wouldn't have liked what I've just done? Big Van Vader and Stan Hansen. I'd have got a stiff slap from them.
They don't like anything.
Good grief.
Big Van Vader could look at a puppy and think, why do you even fucking exist?
So we're heading to New Japan Pro Wrestling Super Fight in Tokyo Dome, 1990, the 10th of February, and more specifically, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match between Big Van Vader, the current champion, and Stan Hansen. Now, this match you will probably know for one thing, and we will get into that in a moment, but I thought that first match was stiff. But you know when you have, Chris, people whose huge complaint about professional wrestling, especially some indie matches, is that it's too over-choreographed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge complaint from a lot of people.
It's a gaff, like a gaff.
Yeah, exactly.
He likes the X Division for some reason. What the fuck, gaff?
Don't think this match suffered with that, Chris.
No, I have no words.
It's chaos, this match.
A bit of behind the scenes. Rob did not know that this was that Hansen and Vader match.
I knew that this Vader and Hansen match happened. I did not know it was here.
Okay, fun fact, this is their only match.
Is this their only match?
Yeah, because Stan Hansen's incredible. Like, he was basically on loan here. Stan Hansen is incredibly loyal to
All Japan. Yeah.
Like, ran All Japan for a little while.
The only real word I can use for this match is danger. Because genuinely, there were times in this match where the two were literally... I've never seen anyone dwarf Stan Hansen. But Vader just looks... he looks massive.
Like, it's weird, because, like, we know Vader's big, but, like, somehow in WWE, he doesn't look that big.
But
like, you know what I mean? Like, he looked big, but he looked more like just another giant, whereas here he's like, Jesus Christ. And, like, this is that point where New Japan was like the land of giants.
At no point was there a move in this match. It was all lariats, chops, and kicks.
You're right. I don't even think it was like a slam or something.
I am a fan of how people sell the Rainmaker. You know, like AJ selling the Rainmaker is a thing of beauty. However, you know,
it's not weird.
This, oh my God. There's a lariat on the outside when Vader hits Hansen, and Hansen folds like a cheap suit. And it was the most realistic thing. It made it look, I mean, don't get me wrong, Vader held nothing back, and at no point did either men hold anything back. But it just looked like Vader had taken the head off Hansen. It was ridiculous.
So we haven't actually discussed the thing that happened in this match that makes it so infamous.
You know a match is stiff when even Vader's eyeball went, absolutely not, I've had enough of this.
Do you think Vader's eyeball was just sort of like, nah, bitch, I'm out.
Fuck this. Stop, I'm getting out.
So, yeah, Vader's eye comes out and he removes the mask. And he's wearing the full mask at this point. Do you think that's partly why he moved to like the wire thing he used for the rest of his career? So, like, if this happened again, it won't be an issue. He just has it on the off chance he fights Stan Hansen again.
Just in case.
Yeah. It's like, I think that's just because of most things that you fight Stan Hansen once and then you just wear bubble wrap for the rest of your life. Just in case he turns up.
I'm just going to wear my Stan Hansen mask.
So, okay. So, there's some debate where the eye came out. It's either like just an accumulated thing or like an eye rake took it out. But what people never talk about when we talk about this moment, they stop at the eye coming out. Like, the match didn't go on for another 10-15 minutes.
But not just that, Chris.
Stan Hansen continued to try and... Like, it's very logical. Don't get me wrong. If it happened in a real fight, you'd keep going for the eye. But also, Stan Hansen, can you just stop being Stan Hansen for a minute? Because like, as soon as it happened, Stan Hansen was still going for it. It's like, Jesus Christ. The thing is, Stan Hansen is allegedly a very lovely man.
I mean, like, all the evidence points to the contrary in this match.
In this match, no, in all of his matches, yeah, but apparently backstage, he's like a proper sweetheart.
It just... Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this is a match where everything sort of blurs into one because they brawl to the outside, they brawl back into the ring, they brawl to the outside, they brawl back into the ring, they slap the shit out of each other, they lariat each other. And genuinely, there are not many matches that you will see where you actually think both men are trying to hurt each other.
No, like, even when we talk about it in terms of, like, Suzuki and Ishii last year, they still weren't obviously trying to kill each other.
No, they were legitimately trying to hurt each other, to the point where this eye came out, like you say, Chris, 4 minutes into the match?
Yeah, into this. God, how long was it?
15 minutes and 47 seconds.
So it was a good 10 minutes. So it included, like, outside brawls and lariats and shit like that.
All to the head, all face-targeted offense.
Yep. Yeah.
And as if anything needed to be done to make Vader a more terrifying prospect, watching him tear towards you with half his face swollen shut. He did most of this match with one eye.
Because when I hear about Vader, I'm a big Vader fan. Like, I went on a proper Vader kick last year. And you hear about, oh, he was so athletic for his size. It's like, well, that's not really what makes him great. What makes him great is the fact that he does not give a fuck about you.
It makes me sad that this Vader in 1990 we didn't get in the WWF. And
yeah, well, you were never going to get this Vader for WWF. Let's nip that in the bud right now.
I don't mean the stiff Vader. Obviously, he's not going to take out Duke the Dumpster Drozy like this, is he? No, you look how over he was.
Oh, in New Japan, yeah. The first night he was in, you probably heard the story. It's very fucking famous. But like, first night he was in, he beat Inoki in like 6 minutes, and it caused everyone to throw in Sumo Hall to throw pillows at him, which got New Japan banned from Sumo Hall for 2 years.
They have a propensity for this. Weren't they banned from Budokan, or was that just Kota Ibushi?
No, they were banned from Budokan for some. There was like a riot at a G1.
Yeah, because Bushi. I'm sure it was because Kota Ibushi moonsaulted off the balcony or something. I'm sure that's why they got kicked out of Budokan for 2 years. Or I thought it was just Ibushi, but it might have been New Japan as well.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's not as bad as Progress is banned from Bournemouth.
Just Bournemouth in general.
Well, there's only one. Let's be honest. There's only one fucking. Yoti is basically the only place in Bournemouth. But yeah, we got banned because Jimmy Havoc jumped off the fucking balcony.
I've never been to Bournemouth, so I wouldn't know.
And to be fair, they almost got banned from the Electric Ballroom, which is like their main hub, because Will Ospreay did a moonsault off of the balcony. And then they referenced it 3 years later up in boxing, when it was this is a weird tangent, but like it was Grizzled Young Veterans, Aussie Open, Mustache Mountain, and CCK doing like they picked fights instead of like tag team versus tag team versus tag team. Like Mustache Mountain were the captains, and they picked people. They picked Zach Gibson last. And what makes it really funny is that one half of CCK was a blow up doll Lycos who got chucked off of the yeah, we should do more Progress.
How it would link in, I've got no idea, but okay. Yeah, this match, it ended in, to be honest, I'm never a fan of double countouts, but I feel like it fit in with the way this match was going.
Well, it's basically a case of you have All Japan's boy and New Japan's boy, and you can't really put one over the other.
But when it got to the point where they just did not give a shit about the ending of the match or the result.
Yeah, I know it's essentially a brawl to the back finish, but also I don't want this match to come to a decision. No,
absolutely. But yeah, double count out. Stan Hansen then comes into the ring, throws up the horns, and goes, yes, to be greeted by just this tumultuous chorus of boos. Vade does the same. He's cheered, and that's when the video cuts out. Good God, Chris. What do we give this, man?
I'm sorry. I don't think this is rateable.
I mean,
because we don't rate shoot fights.
Looking on Cage Match for this match, it's really, really entertaining to look at the average ratings. So in 2010, it was 8.33. But in 2012...
and then it was 6, and then it's like 4, 6, 9. And it's currently sitting at, 7.46?
Yeah, so...
But we're not Cage Match, Rob, and I literally don't want to I feel it would be irresponsible to put a number on this.
So you want to officially give it the first ever PodMania not rateable?
Yeah, because, what would you, if you're looking at a moves basis, it's a 1. If you're looking at it on a drama basis, it's a 10, because Vader literally lost his fucking eye.
Yeah, true. I mean... It's the match you go to when people say, oh, wrestling's fake.
No, what I go to is Kota Ibushi versus the blow-up doll.
Oh, you go all in on it then, do you?
No, here's the thing. I try to point out to people wrestling being fake is its greatest asset.
Right, okay, I'm giving it not rateable.
Are you sort of in the same mindset as me? It's like, what the fuck would you actually give it?
Yeah, you've made a good point, because on a moves basis, it's clunky, it's a little bit clumsy. There are times when Stan Hansen's grabbing at thin air when he's trying to get at Vader, but it all...
He obviously watching that Vader had lost his eye.
Yeah, exactly. Vader's had to take his mask off and he can't fucking see. So...
Can we show... You've been talking about doing like a few live watch-alongs in Blackpool. Can we show Garth this?
The idea of Garth watching Vader's eye pop out will probably stimulate him in a way I don't want to see.
We're going to be drunk first.
Oh, well, that makes it better then, Chris.
It does, because, like, how the fuck is a drunk Garth going to think Vader losing his eye?
Okay, yeah, fair enough. We'll do that.
Yay.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much concludes our podcast for tonight. 3 absolutely bizarre matches and completely different in what we've seen. We're on the final road now to Wrestle Kingdom, with the final 3 matches taking place at the end of December, the road to the Tokyo Dome shows. Tomorrow, on the 9th of December, there is a New Japan press conference, so there we should have a more rounded card for Wrestle Kingdom. As for next week, myself and Chris will be here running down New Japan's year from January all the way through to December, all the highs, the lows, and everything in between. The PodMania podcast will then be all about the PodMania End of Year Awards that your good selves have voted on. Voting has now closed. That podcast will come out on the 16th of December. Now, on top of that, you can talk to us on Twitter at @RealRobGooding for myself. And Chris, where can they find you?
No, God,
Never gets less funny. You can follow us at PodMania or at The Young Lion Cast. You can check out the website, podmania.co.uk, where there we've got the archives of all the podcasts we've done. You can check out all our match ratings for New Japan, all sorts of wrestling promotions. Subscribe to the podcast, and you can subscribe on any social media platform, podcasting platform. You can subscribe anywhere. We are literally everywhere. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.